Good morning students. Today we will discuss the fourth chapter in history, that is the Mughal Empire. As we have discussed two parts of the Mughal Empire earlier, so in this part we will discuss about Akbar and his empire. We will discuss about Akbar, policies of Akbar, or we can say administration of Akbar. And we will see the religious policies of Akbar also. As we know, Akbar was the greatest Mughal emperor. He was born in 1542 in Amarkot when his father was a fugitive there, and he was 13 years old only when he was crowned emperor in 1556. His tutor and mentor Bairam Khan took care of administration of the empire till Akbar was 18 when Humayun died. Two of Sher Shah Suri's nephews, Adil Shah and Sikandar Shah, tried to take back Delhi. Hemu, Adil Shah's able general, occupied Delhi and Agra. Bairam Khan and Akbar met Hemu in the fiercely fought Second Battle of Panipat in 1556 and defeated him. And after it, Akbar shifted his capital to Agra. When we discuss about Akbar's empire, we can divide Akbar's empire into three periods. Birth of Akbar in 1542 in Amarkot, crowned in 1556 after the death of Humayun, and 1556 is also important as the second fearful battle of Panipat was also fought in this year and Akbar got victory. If we discuss about Akbar's time period, Akbar's period can be divided into three parts. The very first is from 1556 to 1570. The second is 1570 to 1585. And the third one is from 1585 to 1605. In 1556, Akbar was crowned and he became independent of the regent Bairam Khan and other members of his domestic staff. Military campaigns were launched against the Suris and other Afghans, against the neighboring kingdoms of Malwa and Gondwana, and to suppress the revolt of his half-brother Mirza Hakim and the Uzbeks. In 1568, he captured the capital of Chittor, and in 1569 he captured Ranthambore. So it was a very important time period for Akbar as he captured two important cities. The one is Chittor and the other one is Ranthambore. And in this period, he also captured Delhi and Agra from him. In 1568, Chittor was seized, and in 1569, Ranthambore was annexed. If we discuss regarding the second time period, 1570 to 1585, in this time period military campaigns in Gujarat were followed by campaigns in the east of Bihar, Bengal and Orissa, and these campaigns were complicated by the 1579 to 1580s revolt of Mirza Hakim. And as we discuss the third time period, in second time period, he suppressed the revolt of Mirza Hakim. In 1585 to 1605, he expanded his empire and campaigns were launched in northwest frontier. He seized Kandahar. He seized Kandahar from Safavids and he annexed Kashmir, Kabul. Campaigns in the Deccan were also started, like Berar, Khandesh and the parts of Ahmednagar were annexed. And this map shows the Akbar's empire. This is the north-west frontier of Akbar's empire. And in Deccan he also captured the part of Goa, Chennai and Puducherry. As we discuss about Akbar, we will also discuss about the sources of information. During the reign of Akbar, a great book, Akbarnama, of which Aine Akbari is a part, was written by Abul Fazl, who was one of the Navratnas of Akbar's royal court. The Akbarnama, which literally means history of Akbar, is a biographical account of Akbar, and it is the most comprehensive history of the reign of Akbar. Ain-e-Akbari was originally the third volume of the Akbarnama. While Akbarnama is technically a history book, Ain-e-Akbari embodies rules and regulations framed and put into effect for proper administration by Akbar. It is regarded as an administrative manual and is like a modern gazetteer. The many regulations embodied in the Ain-e-Akbari provide information about Akbar's government, its several departments, its different ranks, and in this book people were engaged in different trades and professions, and they are described side by side with imperial establishment, nobles, and the grandness of the empire also. Abul Fazl also discussed in this book the social condition, literary activities, the law, and the philosophy. And these laws and philosophy were not written only for Muslims, but for Hindus, Jains, and other communities also. Ain-e-Akbari of Abul Fazl is indispensable in the study of the history of Akbar or history of India also. When we discuss about the policies of Akbar, at first we will see administration. And in Akbar's administration, at first we will discuss about central administration. Later on we will see about provincial administration. So at first we will discuss about central administration. Akbar worked out an efficient system of administration, and he was very powerful emperor and supreme. All powers were concentrated in his hands, and he interpreted the Islamic law, and this led to the decline of the position of ulemas also. The king went on frequent tours of inspection, and the system of government was monarchy system. I use the term monarchy. What is the meaning of monarchy? When the ruler is not elected by people, when it is chosen on the basis of heredity, this is known as monarchy system. The emperor ruled with the help of a council of ministers similar to Humayun's time, and the ministers were appointed, promoted, and removed by him. Some of his different ministers were Wazir, who was also known as Prime Minister. He was also called Diwan, and he was the head of the revenue department also. Mir Bakshi, he was in charge of military administration. And Qazi was the Chief Justice. Whereas Mir Saman looked after the royal households. The emperor was accessible to the people, and they could meet him with their complaints at the Diwan-e-Am in the Agra fort. Diwan-e-Am means the court of the common people, whereas Diwan-e-Khas was the court for nobility and royalty. His officials and ministers could meet and discuss issues of national importance with him at the Diwan-e-Khas. About provincial administration we will discuss later.